about 2.5 years before we went to work on it, he called me. He said, "I want to do a movie about television. Would you be interested?" I said, "Tell me when to block out the time." And it's incredible how it came about. He was suing United Artists on the. He was a very litigious man, Patty, and he was suing United Artists on the statements he had gotten on the hospital. And part of the settlement was that they put up the money for network. The madness of everything. And there were all the usual things. Arthur Krim, who was a wonderful man, and basically did trust creative people, but, you know, when you'd say, "Arthur, what do you think of the script?" He'd say, "This guy is talking for 4 pages. Is that okay?" At least he said, "Is that okay?" And so all they wanted was a good enough cast for the go-ahead. And the parts were so rich. It's one of the few instances where every first choice wound up in the part. Yeah, there was no writing done in rehearsal. He is unbelievably disciplined and tough on himself, Batty. But it's all beforehand. And he isn't going to let himself open for the inspiration of the moment. He has all of his inspiration in that little office of his, where we would break every day at 11 o'clock and open the window, because across the street at the Windsor Hotel there would be a man who obsessively washed himself. And we would watch that every morning for 20 minutes. He always had his window open, standing by his hotel sink, washing for 20 minutes, and then we go back to work. I miss him every day. We even corrupted the camera.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we the first scene between Holden and Peter Finch meeting on 6th Avenue, and we did it with 6 750s. No brutes, no nothing, just as close to naturalistic photography as we could get it. And by the time we get to that last scene, where Bob Duvall is saying, "Well, what are we going to do about this son of a bitch?" If you look at the scene, it looks like a Ford commercial. So slick and so perfectly lit. And that kind of lighting starts in the scene where Bill Holden meets Faye Dunaway for the first time when she comes into his office at night. And they start talking and then wind up going to supper at Elaine. She starts changing the visual style of the movie. When I went to meet her, because I loved her work, I always thought she was a first-rate actress. And so I went to meet her, and she was living in 300 Central Park West. And she was, I walked across this large living room, and I said to her, before she could open her mouth, we had met before, and I said, "Faye, I know the first question you're going to ask me." And she looked up and she said, "What?" And I said, "You're going to ask, where's her vulnerability?" And I said, "There is none. And if I see you trying to sneak some in, I'll take it out in the cutting room." And she, after the shock, because that was going to be her first question, after the shock of the realization, she saw how much a better way to play that part.